Hello and welcome to Red Decks Win, a podcast for the best color in Magic the Gathering. Hey, I'm Josh. For today's show, I didn't want to talk about a specific card or specific decks. Instead, I wanted to talk about Red as a whole, the philosophy of Red that drew me to it. When I was a kid, I didn't always think things through. Sometimes I wanted to see how close I could get to the edge. I remember steering my bike directly towards a concrete wall, trying to turn at the last second and scraping my knee. I remember being 4 years old, not knowing how to swim, and getting ever so close to the edge of the pool until I fell in and my mom had to save me. I didn't like having long-term goals, and that's something I still struggle with as an adult. As a kid and today, I like music, comedy, and fast food. The Beatles are my favorite band, and yeah, how original. But in second place, my favorite group is the Ramones, with their direct punk rock. When I was a kid, I'd rather buy a bunch of small toys that might break easily but give you fun in the moment than save all my money towards a big playset. Spontaneity, impulse, passion. These are Red's strengths and weaknesses, and they're my strengths and weaknesses too. I first wanted to learn Magic the Gathering because I was trying to get a job at a comic book store, and they said knowing the game would help. So I was watching the Planeswalker Primer that Wizards of the Coast made in 2010. In the second of the short videos, they went over the different colors, and this is what they said about Red.
Moving to Red, we have the color of emotion and passion. Red wants you to stop thinking and start smashing things.
From that moment on, I knew my color. How would I describe Red? Red is fire. Red is a villain with a powerful laser beam pointed at the hero. It's a direct threat that sometimes does conk out and breaks down before it can destroy the hero, but whether it wins or loses, it's dangerous. It takes action. Red knows that the way to win a game of Magic is you gotta reduce your opponent's life total to 0, so cards deal damage. Damage to the opponent, damage to their creatures, sometimes even damage to yourself. Red doesn't always calculate the consequences of its actions. It would rather swing in now and ask questions later. But that's not to say Red's always an aggro color. Red can also wipe the board with the anger of the gods or a blasphemous act. Whether it's aggro or control, Red is powerful. When it comes to drawing cards in the game, Red would rather exile the top card of its deck because it can't play it this turn than see no cards at all. Red is filled with that classic mythology of chaos with dragons that breathe fire, random effects like flipping a coin or choosing random targets, and self-destruction. The most iconic red creature type is goblins. They're usually small, cheap bodies that would rather attack every turn and die than spend a turn untapped. Elementals, devils, minotaurs, barbarians, berserkers, outcasts, the reckless, the mighty, and the explosive. These are some of the friends of Red. What I like about Red is it doesn't ask you to build up creatures like white, or gain card advantage like blue, sacrifice like black, or ramp your mana like green. Sure, you can do all those things in Red, but that's not the point of the color. Red wants you to play the game. Step into the unknown, take a chance, do what your gut tells you will get you that victory. I not only like to win the way Red wins, I like to lose in Red style too. Fling that creature you might need later. Use up your hand now and hope you get great top decks. Damage their face during the mid-game and hope you can outrace their threatening creature that maybe you should have killed instead. When you're losing with Red, you're still doing something. Your decisions cause explosions and they impact the game. Red cards in Magic the Gathering let me escape the overthinking I deal with in my life. Sometimes I have paralysis by analysis, trying to figure out what am I doing with my career? Should I go on a date? Trying to schedule events of the week efficiently. Red just lets me play and follow my emotions. I think Magic the Gathering, it's more than just an escape though. It's helped me prioritize, get organized, keep my cool when the going gets tough. Because although Red is the color of passion, you gotta direct that passion towards what you think's meaningful in life. Red is alive, and I am alive. Making this episode, I came across a Magic the Gathering personality test where it tells you what magic color you are. Sometimes personality tests can be crap where it's very clear that the answer you choose is going to lead you to getting a certain result. This one, not as much, and it was trying to ask some pretty deep questions. I enjoyed taking it, and I got mono red, and I wanted to just read their description of what mono red was, because it's fantastic. Mono red. Everyone seems preoccupied with the meaning of life. Red's not, because red already knows the answer. You see, your heart tells you what it needs to be fulfilled. All you have to do is listen to it and act accordingly. It's not a mystery. You are literally bombarded with constant feelings that guide you down the correct path. The problem is all the other colors ignore the message. Life's an adventure, and it's up to each individual to experience it. The key is to embrace your emotions. Let them guide you. If you're happy, laugh. If you're sad, cry. If you're angry, hit something. If you're scared, run away. Listen to your inner voice and you will have the opportunity to experience all that life has to offer. Too many individuals live their life questioning choices they've made. Not red. Red lives in the moment. Red is spontaneous. Red embraces every adventure put before it. Red knows that on its deathbed, it will look back on a fulfilled life with no regrets. That's all Red wants. The ability to live life doing what it needs to. This doesn't mean Red is alone. Quite the opposite, actually. Part of living life is embracing relationships. Red knows passion and loyalty and camaraderie and lust. When Red bonds with another, it bonds strongly and fiercely. Whether a lover or a friend, Red is someone who will always be there when you need them. Well, unless life has taken them somewhere else for some length of time. But then when they get back, they're definitely going to be there for you. To outsiders, Red might seem a bit chaotic. That's only because others can't see what's in Red's heart. They cannot tell Red's emotions guiding them. Living life to its fullest takes a lot of dedication and perseverance, but Red is always up to the task. One more thing that can explain Red better than I can is the flavor text on the cards. So let's take a look at some great red flavor text on some red cards. The sizzle flavor text reads, "Of course you should fight fire with fire. You should fight everything with fire." Jaya Ballard, Task Mage. Raging Goblin reads, "He raged at the world, at his family, at his life, but mostly he just raged." One more Goblin, Goblin Arsonist. "With great power comes great risk of getting yourself killed." The classic Legacy Burn spell Fire Blast has this flavor text, "Ember Mages aren't well known for their diplomatic skills." Then we come to Manic Vandal, whose artwork is of a man smashing some artifacts, and that's what the card does, and the flavor text reads, "It's fun. He doesn't need another reason." Finally, my favorite card in the game, Lava Spike. If you don't know, Lava Spike is a sorcery for 1 red that deals 3 damage to target player. The original flavor text for Lava Spike reads, "Some kami attacks during the war were rife with trickery, subterfuge, and subtlety, draining hope and pride from the mortal world. Other attacks were a lot more straightforward." And here's the reprint of Lava Spike's flavor text. It's not the most subtle incantation, but it gets the point across. I'm Josh, and this has been Red Decks Win. I hope I didn't come across as too well calculated. I went word for word with my script a decent amount for this episode, which I know is kind of an unread thing to do, but I wanted to make sure I could articulate what I enjoyed about Red. Thanks for listening. This has been Red Decks Win. Play mountains, climb mountains, conquer mountains.